Okay, so this is a podcast and it is about art journaling, what it can be used for, who may benefit from it, and why it may be helpful. So, art journaling, put simply, is just a way of expressing emotions because sometimes we can have emotions that are quite big, commonly perhaps perceived as dangerous emotions such as anger or resentment or those type of things, or even grief can be one. And journaling is a way that you can get those emotions out creatively. So you can get them out creatively through picture. And I've got an example of this on my channel where I personally done some journaling, art journaling, at a time where I was feeling, I had the emotion of grief. So I portrayed that into a picture, and you can click on the link below the video, the podcast, and I will then you'll be able to be directed and have a look at that. So you don't have to be creative or be able to draw. Lots of people say they can't draw to be able to benefit from using the medium of art to get emotions out is something perhaps that you may benefit from. So we can look at that. But if you also just wanted to stick to the traditional coaching, that would be great as well. I just bring my expertise to the coaching, and one of them is that I do have a background in art. So that is what art journaling is simply. The great thing about art journaling is that you can use a range of different mediums. So you can use paint, the texture of paint, you can use crayons, you can use pencils, you can use different mediums that can sometimes express different emotions, as well as you can use different colors, obviously, which will be able to convey those feelings. So it may be helpful for personality types who seem to find that they have a um, quite strong emotions and they have difficulty of releasing those emotions. That may be good for you. So that is what art journaling, that would be the process of art journaling, put simply. Within, if this was something you was interested in, then when we had the phone consultation, which is free, I can sort of go into a bit more depth and detail about that with you. But like I said before, I do have pictures of what I've done. So this would benefit everyone because everyone does have a measure of creativity. Although I've over the years I've had individuals who are like, I'm not creative, and they've often been bakers or people who bake cakes and they've said they're not creative, or they've been people who do other, they're in other creative activities where they use their hands to craft or make things, not necessarily artwork, but there is a creative component to it. So everyone does have a measure of creativity, in my opinion. So that may be of benefit to you. Art journaling can also be done in the way of creating boards, such as I call them kind of, they're not mood boards, they're vision boards. And you can get a board. You don't need to obviously do this in a coaching session. You can do this on your own. So I'm giving you this information for free. But the point is that within a coaching session, there's something very therapeutic about having your ideas or your visions, or maybe it's a life goal or life a dream that you have, or a passion about something that you have. And it's very empowering to have someone else in the room with you who's going to share the same excitement about, what you're passionate about, and also be able for you to have that sounding board. So that's another activity that we can carry out together as a partnership, which can be hugely powerful. I know that there is an individual who I personally know who did this in relation. I'm not telling anyone to do this because it is very powerful. You need to do it very carefully if you're going to do it, and be careful for what you're asking, basically, because I know someone who did do this for who was particularly looking for a relationship, and she drew the person, and it did come to pass that she did meet someone who did look similar, some of the similar, obviously not 100% the same, but uh, similar characteristics, I leave it at that, as what she drew in the picture. So that would also sort of go under the kind of heading of visualization. um, so that is also a very powerful tool which can be used for people who struggle with things like low self-esteem, and even if you're dealing with certain health issues, I will repeat, this is a disclaimer, it may be helpful to you because it is able to shift you're able to basically shift thoughts. I practice this. I've been practicing this for many years, in my private time basically, and I'm able to sort to think of different sort of parts of my body where maybe some sort of pain or soreness, and I think about those parts becoming well, being healed, and I do find that that actually has helped me personally to improve symptoms. So there's also a health component that can be added into this, um, art journaling also as well, which is very useful and very handy to do also. So that's, and the last little nugget then, the last little nugget piece would be the mind mapping, what you may know as the traditional bubble charts, but I kind of open it up and can go a different way with that as well, depending on your personality type, and that may help you too. And then the other aspect would be creative journaling. So, you know how perhaps you may be a person who writes in a journal, you may journal and write things down, but there's actually a way where you can do it. You can do it as a visual journal, a sketchbook, journey of your progress through the coaching sessions with me, and then you can continue it on afterwards. And that is also very powerful because it's a visual reminder of your goals or your aspirations. So another example, and something I found very effective as well for people who have, struggle with low self-esteem or lack of confidence as well. Lack of confidence, I would say lack of confidence is other vision boards, I'll call it then. I'll title it vision boards or creative boards. And on these boards, you'd put your name there, and then you would sort of set in however way you want to do it. I've actually done one personally for myself. I don't mind sharing that with you. And on those, then I would put different aspects of my personality and different traits about me, which were very pleasing or very useful, things that I really liked and admired about myself. Also, almost setting them in stone, setting those plaques in stone, and then they would visually be placed somewhere where I could see them and look at them, perhaps on not such a good day or a day for whatever reason. We obviously all go through those peaks and troughs, valleys and mountains in life. I could go back and look at that. And there's something extremely powerful, I think personally, about, putting your hand to the paper and actually crafting. I use that word channeling. I'm not using it in a new age way, but I use that word. You're channeling your energy into that, and you're actually creating a shift. And that can help with the visualization, obviously with color as well, because when we go out into a park and we go into and we see the grass and the trees and the blossoming parts of nature, that says, scientifically, I've read that up. So that is been scientifically proven to have a therapeutic effect on the mind. So there's an aspect of art journaling, which, choosing selecting bright primary colors as well will have a great aspect if you do deal with sort of low mood. But just to emphasize then, as this podcast comes to a close, is I would be looking to work with you, and you would be looking to partnership with me to set the stage then for realistic goals, no matter how small, that can be achieved. And you would come into this coaching session with me in a frame of mind whereby you are willing to do the work, you're willing to do the work and to work on those areas that we discuss. And we would take it from there. Obviously, it's a journey that we would be going on together. So yes, I'll just leave with that then. And I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. And if you have any tips or anything else that you would like to add, or anything that you do personally, you may also be creative. So maybe you use clay, or you use other mediums as well that you found very useful, then please do comment on the video and put them down below, because that will be helpful. You never know, I may try myself. I have established this YouTube channel because my hopes and my desire is that it will become a platform where we can share ideas in a supportive environment. as well as people who want to utilize the coaching services as well. So the coaching services, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, so I'll just say again, forgive me if I have, will be £25 for 40 minutes, and I'll give you an initial sort of I give 5 minutes. I'm pretty discerning, 5 minutes or whatever when we get on the phone, just to see whether we're going to be suitable for each other, or whether what you're asking of me, I'm able to offer it. Like I've said, and I say on all these videos, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a therapist. I am a reflexologist. I am a qualified reflexologist, but I'm not a mental health professional. So I just want to make that clear, so nobody comes into this with any false ideas or assumptions. So the sort of 5 minute sort of consultation via video call would just be able to see whether that is something you are interested in. And just to note, because I've mentioned the art journaling here, so the art journaling one for the coaching, if you wanted that to be visual via Zoom, which may be better because you can actually practice and you can show me what you're producing and I can see it, which would make more sense. That would be a different fee. The £25 would just be for the audio coaching, and I will do if you would like a Zoom call where you would see me, obviously that would take more preparation on both of our parts as well. That one would be £35 for the 40 minutes. So those are the two prices that I'm offering at the moment. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you're well. Take care of yourself, look after each other, and be the authentic you. By that, this is Compassionate Heart Coaching.